It's Jane. Thanks so much for stopping by. I made these ornament and shaker cards using the Birch Press Marisol die and their Ornament Basics dies. The one with the joy is an ornament, two-sided ornament that comes out of that belly band. There are two shaker cards at the bottom. This hope is also a one-sided ornament sitting in a vellum pocket. And of course, what is making cards nowadays without adding a Slimline to the collection? So let me show you how I made them. They're really easy and they're really, really fun. So I start out with the Birch Press Marisol ornament. It's layer A, B, and C, and then the Ornament Basics dies. And what I did was I took the Altenew Dainty Swiss Dots background stamp, which was one of my favorites, and put it in my Misty on the sticky mat that I have here. And I hit my cardstock up with some anti-static. And I used Neenah 110, and this is Versamark ink, and I'm pounding on my table so my camera is, of course, bouncing. I'm trying to get a really good impression here, and I'm going to be using some Brutus Monroe Gilded Embossing Powder. I have these great hot dog trays that I got at Amazon, and I cannot find them, otherwise I would link them for you. I do link to all the products in my blog post if you'd like to check it out. And I just hit that with my heat tool and get those gold embossing dots all embossed in the way they need to be. Now this is from the Ornament Basics die set, and I'm cutting out a hole in the middle of this cardstock because I want to create a shaker card, and I'm trying to line it up and make sure it's straight. I did take that and put a T at the top so I know which is the top. I'll show you that in a second. And I grabbed a piece of acetate. I'm cutting it to make sure that it fits in the hole of the ornament. You don't have to cover the whole card. You just need to make sure that it actually covers the hole so that your sequins and little beads and all those things don't fall out of the inside of your card. So I took a piece of glitter cardstock and I cut out the center to keep it because I don't need it, and why waste it? So I cut out the center, and now I'm going to put this card together. So I am going to cut out the top layer of the Marisol ornament. I'm sorry, I don't remember if it's A, B, or C. And I'm going to adhere that to the acetate. So first I'm going to put the acetate on the back of my card, and I like to use tape runner because I don't like glue with acetate because it tends to squish out and get it all yucky. So I like to use as much tape runner as I can. I will use glue on this, tiny little dots, and make sure they don't ooze out. And after I adhere it to the acetate, I will put a heavy block on top of it to keep it so it dries nice and flat. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this to the gold cardstock. And then before I do that, I do one layer of foam tape. I'm very strategic with my foam tape because where there is no foam tape, sequins go, so I don't like to lose them in the depths of the card. I do put a little anti-static powder tool around the edges so the sequins do not stick. And then I will adhere this to that gold frame. And after I do that, I glued it all up, getting ready to put it on the card, and I realized I forgot to put the hanger on it. So I'm going to put the hanger on it. I do back the hanger with a piece of Neenah 110-pound cardstock so that it's nice and sturdy. And before I do any of that, I put in these two color of sequins, and then I will put on top of that the center of this Marisol ornament that I cut out. It's just sitting there. It's not glued. And then I'm strategically and carefully putting down the glue, putting down the cardstock, and I was so excited when I turned it over and it actually worked and came out. So as I said, I glued that onto the gold metallic, and glued it all up and realized I forgot the hanger. I love the May Arts 1/4-inch silk ribbon. I will link to that for you as well. And I need to cut out my ornament topper. And this is a little off camera, and I apologize, but you will see this near the end of this section of the video. I like to put my string in from behind so I have that pretty knot in the front. And all I did was glue it behind the card, and then I glued that onto a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. And now I need to make the sentiment. So I'm using the Gina K Season's Greetings. I embossed it with the same gold embossing, and it came out really pretty. Now I have another card, and I'm looking for ink to match, and I do have those ink swatch downloads available in the description below. First I stamped it with the purple Altenew ink, then I cleaned my stamp, and I stamped it with Versamark. I put that Hero Arts sparkle embossing powder, and it came out great. So here's two different shaker cards with two different colors and two different backgrounds, and look at the different looks you can get. So this is that Birch Press Marisol die. I cut it out from 3 different colors of cardstock, and I layered them all up, and I call it the pokey tool. I'm hitting them with the pokey tool. And you could use any color. You can back them with anything that you want to back them with. It's just totally up to you. So I did the 3 layers, and I put the white behind it. And now I wanted to have a background on my card base. So I love this Altenew Dotted Swirls Deboss. And I cut it out from my cardstock, and I put a little green mat behind it. The green mat is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And I'm putting on my topper, and I realized that I wanted to make this a double-sided ornament, a keepsake ornament. So I did the whole thing again. I layered the greens all up. I made another ornament topper, and I glued it to the back of the white to have a keepsake 2-sided ornament. I will be adding my hanger. Here it is. And I'm going to hold it together with these self-clamping tweezers so that it dries, well, only if I can get it on there properly, so that it dries nice and flat and straight, and I don't have to be sitting there holding it, because you can see how well I did already. This is the Birch Press Sugar Script Big Joy die, one of my faves. There's 3 layers of white and 1 layer of silver. And now I'm creating a belly band for this out of some 40-pound vellum. I'm figuring out where do I want the ornament to go and how do I want to hold it in there. So I'm just going to fold over one side, and I'm not pulling tight, folding over the other, making sure I have room for that ornament to fit in there without bowing the card. And then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm just going to adhere that with some glue. And I'm going to glue the whole thing to the back of that 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. I'm now adhering the joy on the top of that vellum, and I'm popping my little ornament in there to make sure it looks good. And it does. It looks really good. I did not like the white side showing, so I hit it with a Copic marker. I don't think I would do that again. I had some silver cord in my stash. I used a topper for that, and I taped it down with some purple tape on the inside of the card, which doesn't look so nice, but that way they can remove it. Now I have this amazing Sizzix roller and foam tool that I never use enough of, and I forgot that I had it, and it took most of the hard work out of getting all these little tiny things out of these dies. It actually works if you keep it in the actual die itself and you hit it up. It works as well. And it also gets the things out of the die themselves without poking all the time. So these are my 3 different layers. I use the Hero Arts confetti, circle confetti for the background. And I have a layer of red metallic, red cardstock, and the top layer is another layer of red metallic. And I'm using these Simon Says Stamp stained glass greetings. I love these at Christmas time. I'm going to be stamping this on some vellum with some Wow red embossing powder. You will see that I changed my mind. It came out great, as you can see on the left, but I thought I just really wanted the silver instead. And rather creating a belly band for this, I wanted to create a little pocket. So I'm adhering that vellum to the back of this card with some very small pieces of tape. So I didn't want it to show through on the other side, and I'm holding it down with that acrylic block. And then what I'm doing to make the pocket is I just want to adhere a little piece of red cardstock strip at the bottom. And look at that. My ornament just pops right in there. I will again take the string or the cord or the ribbon, whatever you use, and I will put that on the inside, hold it down with some purple tape, and there you go. And if this is only a one-sided ornament, Maybe I just got a little lazy. I'm not really sure. But it came out really cool, and I'm very happy with that one. And I'm so very happy with both of these. Both of them are ornaments with two totally different looks. I love how you can take one set of dies and have totally different looks. It just amazes me sometimes. So what is a Christmas card nowadays, or any card these days, without making a Slimline card? So let me show you how I made my Slimline card. So I find that it's best to cut the long side of the cardstock down to 9 inches and then score at 4 1/4, and then put it in my cutting tool and cut it 3 1/2, 3 3/4, or whatever you want, both sides at a time, so you get a nice even cut. I'm using the Simon Says stamp Large Falling Snow and the Gina K Glimmer Glitz in the red velvet color. This already has on the back of it something called Pixie Spray. It's sticky already because I already used it earlier, but I will show you. I put it in my Tim Holtz Splat box, and I spray a light layer of Pixie Spray on it, and then I let it dry for just a couple of minutes, and then it's all sticky. So I'm taking my offset spatula and I'm scraping that all in all of the holes. And then I'm going to take my, I can't think of what it's called, a scraper tool. It's got a name. I'll think of it in a minute. And I'm going to scrape it, Scraper Pals? Nope. Anyhow, I'm going to scrape all of that excess gel into my jar because I don't want to lose it. I'm going to pick it up. Now you have to clean your tools right away or this stuff will stick and you will never get off. It's like cement. So have a bowl of water next to you, or stop what you're doing and go to the bathroom and wash everything off really, really good. So I'm going to set that aside to dry. I thought it came out really well. And I'm going to be alternating between some red and silver cardstock here to make this Slimline die card. And here I am using that Sizzix tool. And then I have this really cool vacuum that I use to pick up all of my little bits so my floor and my craft space don't look like an army slept in it after about 5 minutes. But look how easy this gets all of those little pieces out of there. It's just amazing to me. I love it. I love it. So as I said, I'm alternating between silver and red, and here's the vacuum that I use. It's Black & Decker. It's called a Pivot. And I'm going to use these Pink Fresh Slimline stitch diagonals, and I cut out that panel that I already glimmer glitzed earlier, and I'm putting it on some red cardstock. Again, I like to matte everything. And you can see I've got a layer here of red and silver, and then this one is more silver than red. I'm popping this one up on some foam tape. I'm putting the foam tape in the middle and some glue on the edges. Sorry about my hair. I did go and put some string on the tops of these ornaments. Totally unnecessary. You can't even see it. So I wouldn't do that again, but I'm just going to show you. I put a little bit of tape on the back just to grab that string. I have some silver cord in my stash, putting it through. That's how I did all of the other ribbons as well. I just adhere the cord or ribbon by the back of the card. So I put a heavy acrylic block on this to make sure that it's all drying correctly. And then I wanted to make a sentiment, and I knew I wanted a long sentiment. I thought, well, let's try white. No, I thought red would be much, much better. So I used this My Favorite Things Snow Globe Greeting. I heat embossed it with Brutus Monroe Sterling embossing powder, and I'm putting it on a piece of scrap white cardstock. And I'm running a really thin line of glue on either side of this, and I'm going to lay these silver strips on each side. When you're all done, you can cut them with your scissors. I use my trimmer because I get a much cleaner cut with my trimmer, I think. But some people cut really well with their scissors. I'm not one of them. And I will cut all of that leftover off. I'm getting rid of some of that extra glue that's squished out, even though it was a thin line of glue. And I will cut that cardstock off. And now I'm laying it out. I'm making a mark because I need to decide where I need my foam tape to be. I need to pop up the sides of this because the center's already popped up. So I'll put my foam tape on either side, a little bead of glue in the center. And then I will get my T-ruler out because at this point, I do not want to glue my sentiment on crooked. Even though I have this beautiful glass media mat, it's still crooked. I was leaving an eraser mark, so I grabbed my Creative Detailer, a battery-operated eraser. And I know it sounds silly, but guys, it is amazing how it erases and doesn't leave any marks. So I love that. I cut the edges off the card, and then I have this amazing, beautiful Slimline card. So here's the Joy ornament with the belly band around the center, and this one has the pocket. You do decide which one you like the best. I think I like the pocket, but that's me. And then I'm going to show you the 2 shaker cards. I'm going to show you the Slimline first, the red with the glitter and the metallic cardstock. It really makes for a bright, vibrant card, and I love that Gina K glitter glitz behind. I think that red velvet is perfect. And then I wanted to show you my craft room when I'm all finished. I made 5 cards. I'm not sure how long I was up there, maybe 3 hours just playing around. And it is a mess. That's why we can't find anything. That's my leftover breakfast. I don't think I had a sip of water. I have open drawers. Even though I have a vacuum, I have paper everywhere. This is the table behind me where I do my cutting and things off screen that you don't need to see. This blue chair houses this is my storage system of all the things that I need to put away when I'm all finished. And I do put everything away before I go to my next project. Here's the other side of my room with my camera stand and my TV, which shows me what I'm actually recording so I know what you're actually seeing, which doesn't make any sense because I still don't know why I'm always off camera. Here's a final look at the 5 cards that I made. I hope you enjoy this project. It's really using 2 basic die sets. Enjoy!